Tumut Community Preschool and the wonderful work done by our Kapuka military band here making their way through as well. One of the big jobs of our military bands, wherever they may be in our district, with one training of course with the Kapuka and the history of the Australian Army. The Kapuka band have been a part of just about every single festival around the Riverina, and here they are with us today as well. They have travelled all through for Anzac Day, and of course they make their way around the roundabout there, followed by the New South Wales Police Force and Senior Constable Paul Dean from Highway Patrol in one of the new BMWs. And we see of course the replacement of the Fords and the Commodores, and we see these new BMWs with all the advanced equipment and of course all their testing equipment and of course radar gear. And we see the police force testing Starlink, the new satellite link system at the moment in the metropolitan areas, but Riverina 220, of course our locally based Highway Patrol, followed by Station 467, of course the New South Wales Fire and Rescue. And of course the broadcasts all started off with Captain Kerry Willis and the days of calling from the Fire and Rescue. This is Kerry's idea all those years ago, probably at least 18 years ago. We talked about the fire station being part of the parade, and today we have two rescue units here. We have of course 467 coming along, and of course our emergency services. Gee, we talk a lot about our emergency services, and we must say as well a very good afternoon to listeners online joining us for the parade as well. Very good afternoon, Peter and Tracy. Of course, Peter Jones, and of course the Rural Fire Service with their fantastic organisation, as always, of the parade. Now, Tumut Community Preschool, as we make our way through. Lots of walking groups. What a beautiful day for a walk out about. And of course, our wonderful early educators and our early education system. And the kids are always involved in something special. We come through a big wave from the kids and from the crowd as well. This is a real buzz. The kids remember this for years and years. So do the mums and dads, getting things organised for years and years to come as well. But big thank you to mums and dads schools for the Tumut Community Preschool. Here they come, just making their way around the roundabout some more. They're dressed in their autumn colours as well, and that makes it much. It's a good idea. Yes, go around that side of the roundabout. Of course, the theme for the preschool is to grow and provide, and this was inspired by the preschool's, of course, the Year 8 garden, which we've talked about lots on the air on the local station. The Rio Garden is the children grow vegetables and fruit trees with the help of their educators and amazing mums and dads as well. And of course, to grow and provide is the motto there. The garden, it was established how long ago? There would have been good 12 months or more ago, and it's been producing fruit and veggies ever since. And a big thanks to our Aboriginal elders as well for their instruction and direction for keeping that fantastic garden going with those very keen and eager kids who, of course, we have one of the early educators join us each and every Friday morning on the local station. Of course, one of our wizards on stilts. Now there's a trick and a half. Luckily, the wind's not quite what it could be on an autumn day. It'd be a bit like that. And of course, all part of our parade for this year's Falling Leaf Festival. The first Tumut Scout group. Of course, first Tumut Scouts were officially registered in 1923, which makes this year their centenary. First Tumut Scout group welcomes all children in the region aged 8 to 18 and also offers opportunities for adults as leaders. They're involved in a huge range of activities, working progressively as youth members, maturing towards being youth leaders, and of course all with fantastic adult support. And of course, people like Simon Smith, who have been part of the Tumut Scout group for a long, long time, from little as a scout to leaders of the Scout group. Right behind that, with the sounds of the V8s, are the Mustang Club. Phil Jones and his team with a group of Mustangs. Most of them are newer models that we'll see coming down the street at the moment. Where is Pat Ferguson? Of course, one of our very keen contributors. Those photos that Trina's taking might be able to be used for Pat to have a look at these wonderful cars that we see here coming through. And of course, Kazua, nice number plate. And of course, one Pat 705. I knew you'd be listening, Pat. The Mustangs have grown, Pat, you're one of the first. And of course we see with Pat and the kids and the card clubs in our region, we'll see a few more of the card clubs have become real family clubs in this day and age. Whether it's the vintage and veteran clubs, or we see some of our more modern cards, like we see here with the Mustangs. And of course the Fergusons with the top down, one of the rarer models of Mustangs. Lucky it's not raining, Pat Ferguson. Of course, one of our co-hosts of Saturday Morning Sport on the local station with the grandkids in tow there, and a beautiful, that's an anniversary edition Mustang close behind. Now, of course, Franklin Public School, one of our wonderful schools in the region. Franklin Public School have been getting ready for this for a number of weeks. They're parading with a cavalcade of decorated bikes and scooters, walking with banners, and of course their dear puppets, Frank and Lil. Those scooters, maybe we could remember that come Monday morning on the local station. So there we go. That is, of course, our wonderful, thank you Marty, our wonderful friends from Franklin Public School. Look at all the work there, all the orderlies and the strings. And it's not just the kids, it's the mums and dads that put a huge amount of effort into this as well. Frank and Lynn, that's Frank and Lynn there in the little trike trailer there behind there, with all the colours as we make our way towards, of course, the red and the blue. And Tumut Public School with their beautiful flags there. Big wave of the flags so the people can see you all the way down the background. And of course, again, thanks kids, but also thanks mum and dad and the teachers with their work there with our friends from Tumut Public School and of course Franklin Public School just in front there. Now we move towards Snowy Cruises. They're right behind our students there with the school. Lots of, the kids did a great job, didn't they? And of course, don't forget, we're judging all these as well for today too. There's some secret judges. We're not judging it up here. There's some secret judges in amongst the crowd, keeping an eye on this. Now, the Snowy Cruises Car Club is a group of like-minded individuals with vehicles over 30 years old who have a keen interest in all things automotive, and what a selection of cars. Daryl's one tonner, whether it's the Commodores and the Morrises, the Holdens, the EKs, the Datsuns, the Fiats, whatever truck and car you've got, you'd be more than welcome to join in with what is a fantastic car club. I knew that was coming. A little Ford Cortina, beautifully restored, and of course you can see there's special registrations with these special vehicles and the amount of work and time that goes in. We'll see some very magical minis very soon as well. Now, who is excited? I know that Richard's excited, and of course we're talking our friends from Ciderfest. They're following the parade, and of course the Ciderfest coming up on the 20th, and there's our very own Elvis Presley. Hello Elvis.
Hey Dave, how you doing, bud?
Yes, of course, our good mate Len Connolly, internationally recognised Len Connolly. And of course, get excited, Saturday the 20th of next month. Thank you, Len. Great display. What a great festival. It's like travelling back to Bavaria. Richard Bruard. And of course, with all the wonderful work being done in preparation for what will be a fantastic celebration. Now we've got, of course, the wonderful Tumut Hospital Auxiliary members. And of course, Bernie and her team with the work that is done inside that hospital auxiliary, the amount of fundraising that is done for the benefit of patients, whether it's books and magazines, or whether it's an extra bed, whether it's a special chair, whether it's something just needed to keep them more comfortable in our beautiful hospitals of the region. Our hospital auxiliaries on display today, of course, Tumut Hospital Auxiliary. And of course our town band. And of course the Tumut town band there, aren't they a big part of our show? Each and every year when we go somewhere, we try and make something run. They're there, putting on music, whether it's big or small festivals. They are so important, so important. Craig Palmer and of course some of the cast, and Dr. Warm, from, of course, the Planet Man. On tonight, 7 o'clock tonight, and you'll see our Planet Man on stage again. It's travelling the district, closely followed by, of course, our basketball bouncers. Of course, Dwayne Murray and his team there. We talked about this on the sports show this morning. They've been bouncing those basketballs all the way down from up there near the radio station in Kappa Street. Thank you to Dwayne and the kids there. Of course, the Batlow Cider Company in front there, and of course, the Planet Man on tonight at the Montreal Community Theatre. Now we have Little Possums. We've lost our scripts here. Little Possums are now going past with heaps and heaps of bubbles. Again, I'll be lucky with this weather, no wind, so the bubble machines are working perfectly. And of course, our Little Possums group have been around for a long, long time, and they're presenting the Little Munchkins on this beautiful Wizard of Oz themed float. And of course, the children and educators created the float together. Little Possums has been a big part of the community, educating the kids for the last 13 years. Look at the work that's gone in to this particular float. Isn't that fantastic? Well done to Little Possums. And of course, a big thanks to the mums and dads and the kids involved there as they bring their way through with their fantastic display there with, of course, following the yellow brick road. Lots of bubbles, there's people on stilts, there's mums and dads and babies and strollers. It's a real parade, this one, as we see our floats moving past our walking groups, our big Pink Panther. It'd be a bit warm in that little suit, but again, a big part of our parade. Now we have following behind our wonderful display there with that great float, Little Possums, well done there. We've got, of course, the Minis and our Mini Club. And we must say a very special good afternoon to, of course, Doug Martin, who's not with us today. Dougie's not that well today, but he has commissioned the fleet of Minis to make their way through what is one of Australia's biggest collection of mini cars. And you'd be flat to find a collection of mini cars anywhere in Australia as impressive as this. And a big thank you to the private owners as well, like we have up the front there, in that beautiful little Mini, the station wagon. And again, like our car clubs, it's just remarkable the amount of work that goes into the preservation of these vehicles. And Doug Martin, there's about 30 Minis from the Riverina Club forming, would it be over 20 years the Mini Club has been in operation. And Doug's got all the cars out, but we do say a very special good afternoon. I know Doug will be listening online, and yeah, all the best, Doug. You get better soon, Doug, because your cars are being well looked after. A few burnouts, a couple of burnouts here and there from that lead car at the front with Brian Kalia, but apart from that, they're working beautifully, Doug. They're doing the parade. Of course, every parade we've had, regardless who it might be, has had the Minis involved. And Doug's just selection, and they're broken up like our car clubs in various sections, because we've got lots and lots of entries in our Mini Club there. So the Riverina Mini Car Club, and of course Doug Martin and his team there of volunteer drivers. Now, of course, we have the Reedy Creek Equestrian Club, and of course the Reedy Creek Equestrian Club, it's a member of the Australian Carriage Driving Society. They promote and support all forms of carriage driving, including pleasure and endurance. CDE, which is a driven form of eventing. Dressage, of course, and of course showing. Not show jumping, luckily. We don't want that with our carriage clubs, but showing. And you can see that on display today. This is the showing section. And of course, they've got a strong group of active members in Tumut, Gundagai, and of course across the Adelong district. And a big thank you to the Reedy Creek Equestrian Club as part of our parade for today. More minis, Hansie. Look, and there's one of our favourites. You might notice no big trucks in the parade this year, simply because of the roundabout. It's too hard to get a B-double to turn around, or even a semi to turn around here. But Doug Martin has got the Ryams logging mini there, and you don't see that every day, but even it's had to detach its trailer for this parade. So Doug, it's running beautifully as you listen online there. And of course, as all the mini cars, and some of our more modern minis, some Doug's, some privately owned. That's that noise you just heard, that's the Ryan Semi, the mini Semi, the pride of the fleet there. Now, we'll see a few more of the minis and some more car clubs coming through, but the Tumut Show Society of course, the Tumut Show Society, they've got a very big event coming up next year. They will be celebrating 200 years of Tumut Town, and the Tumut Show Society, of course, Margaret Hillier and her team have got on display ribbons going back and looking forward to assisting in the town celebrations. Look at all those ribbons from years gone by that they've strung onto that car there. Just fantastic. First Super, that big sign we saw, one of our wonderful sponsors of the on that Volvo with the plates too. That's an historic car. I remember they were Handsy. I remember when they were released. They're classic cars. It's a bit of a worry. The Rotary Club. There's the trikes. We've talked lots about the trikes. Our fit and able riders have got the batteries turned off, and these are the trikes that we've been chatting about for a number of months. Of course, the Batlow and Tumbarumba and Tumut Rotary Clubs. This is something really special. Tumbarumba have had our trikes for a while. This is giving people the ability to go on some of their wonderful walks. You'll see the trikes in Batlow being used on that beautiful Tumbarumba to Rosewood Rail Trail regularly. Bruce Giles and his team have got these. There's 3, Hansi, or 2? We've got 2 trikes at the moment, but you watch them grow. There'll be more coming along because they are going to be hugely popular for older members of our community or people that aren't as mobile as they once were. The Rotary Club decided that this would be a perfect opportunity to be able to appreciate some of the great areas we've got to ride, but also give those people the chance to go and have a look at themselves. So well done to the trike riders. This is their first official outing. Now, the Gundagai Antique Motor Club, one of the state's older clubs in the region, have been a part of the community for a long time as well. Now we've seen some wonderful history there with our clubs, and when you look at the way that our car clubs come together, you will find that the work that's done to keep these cars breathable. Look at, there's one example, a little truck there with all the oil trails on the back there, and of course a little bit more modern there with the Magna. Remember when they were released too, Hansi? Doesn't seem that long ago, but again, they've become classic cars these days. And of course the beautiful Dodge Ute up there, and this beautiful Ford Cobra that's making its way around there. And it's not just jump in the car and start them. There's services, there's work, there's money to spend at part shops on a regular basis, as people with Chev Bel Airs would know. That there's never a time where you don't sort of have to put something towards your old car, and that's exactly what these clubs are doing, which is just fantastic to see them out and about today. And of course, the Bedford. This is of course station 467, and of course followed by a rural fire service. But the Bedford, that was, for kids listening and watching today, that siren was a siren you heard not that long ago, fighting fires in our region from our town brigades. And a big thanks to Fire and Rescue. A big part, as you say, remembering Captain Kerry Willis joining us for the first of our broadcasts all those years ago. And of course, Bomboli with the siren there, that is the Rural Fire Service. We've got Goobagadra and Tumut and a stack of others involved in the parade. These boys and girls in the trucks, these are the organisers of our street parade this afternoon. Peter Jones is listening online this afternoon as well. Peter, trucks are looking absolutely spectacular. And of course, we are, none of us are strangers to the site of the Rural Fire Service after the 1920 bushfires. But since then, we have seen the addition to the fleet of this tanker. And of course, this is the Snowy Valley's big bulk water tanker that you've heard Peter and I chat about on the radio. A huge resource. It can fight fires, but its primary purpose is to take water out to the Cat 1s through to the 5s and keep them topped up with water. And of course, right at the tail of the fleet is the wonderful rescue service provided by the SES, our State Emergency Service. Now, we would be absolutely lost without the team for their emergency work done for all our emergency agencies, and of course with the RFS and the State Emergency Service officially starting our parade today and continuing it down through the streets today. And a big thank you to all our participants in the parade this afternoon. What a great turnout of floats around our region. And of course from the Hospital Auxiliary to First Super to Flourish Australia to Bright Horizons, the Town Band of course, and all the different people that have joined us this afternoon too. People watching live on Facebook this afternoon. Nice to have your company today on the social sites, and even up there at Snowy 2.0. in the bus at Tantangara this afternoon. Nice to have your company, Boydie. Boydie, of course, one of our Snowy 2.0 workers with, of course, that massive construction work which is underway at the moment in the top end of the Snowy Mountains. What a beautiful, overcast sort of day to be up there, Boydie, listening online on Sounds of the Mountains and, of course, Radio Upper Murray. And look, we talk about our emergency services, our New South Wales Ambulance Service on a job this afternoon, 24 hours a day and 7 days a week, always doing something to help out the community. And it's as we've mentioned many times, a 24-hour service with these highly trained and qualified people that make us just so proud to be part of a community where the people that are working with our emergency services know those operators as well. And of course, a big thank you to that wonderful work. But again, a big thank you to all the community groups taking part this afternoon, to Peter Jones, to Peter and Tracy and his team as well for making the parade possible. And importantly, to all the people putting floats, whether they be walking groups or bikes, the mums and dads and the kids, and to the community that has come out this afternoon to join us. And for those people joining us online, and of course on the local station, Sounds of the Mountains and Radio Upper Murray, as we head back to the festival. Don't forget, it continues through until 6 o'clock tonight. Lots of food and drink, and of course parking all around the CBD area. Thank you, Hansi Armour, for your use of your beautiful balcony for the parade call today. And of course we'll hand you back to the studios right now of Sounds of the Mountains and Radio Upper Murray. Thank you, Kevin Turner.